Welcome to BGFG. And as always, as we say a lot of times in the moniker right at the beginning, is it took 2 years to fix audio problems. Well, yeah, but we still have some video problems sometimes. So in this particular episode, unfortunately, the majority of the second half of the show didn't record. No idea why. It showed that it was recording. I check it all the time because we've had problems before, and I usually never get Freemo never lets me live it down. But the second half of this show, unfortunately, didn't record. So I apologize about that. The upcoming show that you're about to see next week or next time, episode 377, will be far better. I hope. Thank you and enjoy at least this much of the show.
Time for BGFG.
Gonads are useful for their purpose, but they are no substitute for brains.
All right, here we go.
I have to say, well done, Bree. Well done. Well played, my adversary. Well played.
Phoenix isn't gay, but if he was, he'd pick Freemo.
Oh yeah, he'd be living down there with you in the bunker, man. Woo!
Once you go free, you always do the Z.
Like one day of not going to Duncan, and you could get a controller, a new Xbox, possibly even a cord.
And now, the two guys that took 2 years to fix their audio problems.
Welcome to BGFG episode, what the hell are we on? 376. I'm your host, Chris Phoenix, and joining me as always, my brother from another mother, Mr. Freemo Z. How are you, sir?
Hey, good day, sir.
I'm guessing you're excited about the Apple announcement yesterday.
Well, they got a new Apple out.
Yeah,
Is that the one, the cross between the Macintosh and the Granny Smith?
it is. It's called Green Granny.
Green Granny.
Green Granny.
But grannies are already green, so.
Dude, why are you going to pick on the name, man? I don't name this shit. Okay? That's marketing department. Do you ever see
Granny
our
Mac.
marketing department? Our
I went
marketing
with
department's
Granny
pretty
Mac.
sad.
That's what I went with. I submitted my name for it. They didn't pick it. Granny Mac.
I put it in the box. You know, I folded my paper.
Oh, how you been?
Oh, you know, it's a true treat to work in the IT field and in retail. It is an honor to.
That's like a blending of two of the best things ever.
No, it absolutely is not. Excuse me. There should be
I'm trying to go glass quarter full for you.
a quarter full. That's about right.
There ain't no way you're getting a half in that industry.
No. It should be white collar workers, blue collar workers, retail workers. Because we take more shit than anybody else. Even when I was in offices and cubicle hell back in the day, even then, if you really, really kind of push the issue, I could hit the button and shut your phone off, like shut the phone call off, and then my boss would be like, "Why'd you shut that off early? We gotta That's okay. They were being disrespectful. In retail, they're in front of you, in your face, 90% of the time, or you're working in an industry where you got to go into people's homes through the retail chain.
See, but that's where being married for a while is, becomes or a parent, because you can just kind of put that blank face on like you're paying attention.
Correct.
While you're processing something else.
Correct. I noticed that I can process things a lot better than the 20-somethings, which we'll get into later, the next generation or the past generation, new generation, because I'm married and I have kids. Your shit doesn't matter to me, whoever you are. Like, I get it, but I don't care. I wish they just understand that. Like, I'm just here to do a job, man. I don't want to hear about your life. You know, one guy walked up to me today with my phone. He's like, "Yeah, my phone got hacked." I'm like, "Well, it's an iPhone, so I was on a bunch of porn." Dude, here's your phone back. I don't want to touch it now. Now we got to sanitize my hands. I don't know what the fuck you were doing. It's disgusting. It's gross.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What?
Well, I fucking hate you.
See, folks, that's how you do it. You look like you're paying attention. You look interested.
I hate you.
No, I heard it all. Yeah, I wouldn't have touched the dude's phone after that either. I'd have been like,
No. And for the love of God, people, if you're going into a retail facility with your device, whatever the device is, laptop, desktop, phone, tablet, look at it in the light. Because odds are you've spent a lot of time in the dark or dim light with that device. Just look at it in the sunlight, okay? Decide right then and there, maybe I should clean it before I bring it in.
give it a quick wipe down.
Just a wipe down. Take the seeds out of it. I don't know who you're buying from, but sticks and seeds shouldn't be a thing anymore. So wipe that off there. You know, that little stain that you got right there over on the.
You want to get your screen really clean. Get some acetone, some 120 grit. You'll be fine.
My screen's all fuzzy now. Yeah, that's normal. All right, let's get into this week's show because we had a lot to cover.
BGFG News. You heard it here third.
And as we always say, welcome to the shit show of BGFG News, where you will hear most of the time third. At least next week you will. So last week, because we're recording this on a Thursday, so it was late last week, which I thought was ironic. They did it on a Friday night. They announced it. Samsung, giant Samsung, announced that they got hacked. They got compromised.
Yeah.
And it seems like...
They took a page out of the whole fire 'em at the end of Friday playbook.
Correct. And I've gotten into this with a couple of customers that do listen to our show, that I have a couple of clients, and they're like, dude, really? It's always... I'm like, seriously, like the top of the news in the technology world, a lot of times is people getting compromised, and you have to live with that, and it's better that you know this stuff so you protect yourself. I spend at least half of my day every day talking to groups of people or several people about checking who the email came from, knowing that when you have a box that pops up that says allow or block, don't always hit allow. You know, there's a lot of those things. Do I like notifications? No, just click no.
No, always click allow. That way I will always be gainfully employed.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, if I start teaching this shit like the
we got to. It's a fine line we got to walk between keeping people educated and staying employed. You know.
After the fourth time I've told you that your pop-ups and problems are coming from Facebook, you should probably stop using Facebook. And she's like, "What am I going to do?" I don't know. I'm going to throw this out there, ma'am. You have a cell phone? Okay. So all those contacts in your cell phone, you can text and call. You don't need Facebook to do that. You can text and call them right from your phone. Just reach out, text them. They love text. Younger kids, hey, grandkid, how you doing? They love that shit. But Samsung did get compromised. Their U.S. systems were compromised.
Huge compromise. Like we don't even know how deep this ocean goes yet.
No, because they're not telling people. And again, the media's complaining that it took too long to tell anybody. Fremo and I know you'll back me up. When you have when your system gets compromised, you cannot announce it. You can't. Because if you announce it, all those people, all those malicious people that are compromising it, back off. And then you can't track them and you can't get out of there. And you don't know where they came from. So you have to leave them going. That way you can track it back. And sometimes it's a game of cat
and mouse, certainly. But I think part of the reason why it took so long with this particular one is because they were already so deep into Samsung when they discovered what was happening. There's probably some delay, going up the chain of, I don't want to tell them. You tell them.
I'm not telling him.
I don't have any answers for him yet. I'm not saying a word.
Right. I'm not telling Bill. Did you see him? He just fucking reamed out that girl for going to the bathroom too long. I'm not telling him that we got compromised. No fucking way. That's not happening.
Then they tell that guy, and that guy's like, oh, crap, man. Y'all got to give me something better than this before I go upstairs.
I got no information. Why are you putting this in my lap? There's 100 different answers you'll get from Gen Xers. Just sitting there in the mid, I'll fix everything. Because the boomers are on their way out and they don't understand this shit. So when you go up there and say, sir, we've been compromised. Well, how bad is it?
You swore she didn't have a camera in the hotel room. No, we're not talking about that.
No, sir, not that. Sorry, not that. God, we're so awful. But it's so true. So they said in some cases, and this is a quote, in some cases they took customer information. Okay, Samsung, What information?
Yeah.
The only thing you've released is that it's possibly IMEI numbers, which are supposed to be encrypted anyway. And then you get into the
Correct.
vague. They just got vague with all the information. Some
Oh, yeah.
demographic information. Well, look, if you have the customer's IMEI number, their demographic information, and a minimum of their phone number, they are going to be compromised 100%. They're going to get pop-ups, and I've started to see this, and I wondered what it was. Just a couple of days ago, I started to see a lot of Samsung phones come in going, I don't know what's going on with my software. It's just not working right. There's something wrong with it. And it's like, well, yeah, did you open this? Did you launch this? No. Okay, well, it just launched. And then in one instance, I actually saw things moving and opening. I'm like, did you drop this phone? And the phone was in pristine condition. So I'm like, the odds of display anomaly.
Anomaly. I got you.
I appreciate that. The fact that was in there just extends the fact that this is a bigger problem that Samsung's talking about. And a good hacker can just needs demographic information, your phone number, to really wreak havoc on your world. Because also in your phone is probably a bunch of saved passwords as well. You know, it's and then you got the pop-ups. The pop-ups that are directed towards. If you have that certain information, and follow me on this, Free. If you have somebody's IMEI number, you have full access to the phone, and you see that they're searching for weight loss pills, and then you can send up a certain alert or an email or a text that says, "Hey, interested in weight loss pills? Click here for your free 30-day supply." If you send that out to 2,000 people, and you get 50 people to just click on that, that's already a hook in the fish's mouth. All they're gonna do is sell you on the product now. And it's really sad that a company this big, and I'm dealing with this company right now in a bunch of different ways, and I have to say that Samsung is probably the hardest company I've ever had to deal with, ever. Really? Dell, HP, Brother, Apple, even Apple. And Apple's really stringent. Like, Apple's like, you didn't word the email properly. What? Yeah, here's a little help, because I've had somebody that's like in the know and likes me. And they're like, yeah, use this. And they sent me a fucking template free on how to talk to Apple. I'm like, well, that's good, man. It's good now.
I mean, getting the template's a bonus, but somebody that actually likes you.
Oh, fuck off. But it is true. They did send me a template, and it's the way to talk to Apple. And Samsung, by far, is the hardest company to deal with. And they even declined to say if the breach included third-party companies or was from third-party companies.
Yeah, they've been like ultra vague.
Yeah, and then they came out, and said,
they've said a couple of things that it's not, but that's a really short list, and that leaves a really long list of what it could be.
Correct. They said it wasn't Social Security numbers and it wasn't credit card numbers. Well, fucking great. Thank you very much, Samsung. Because I don't know why anybody on Samsung gave them the Social Security number in the first place. Because that's just weird.
It's for their what do you call it?
I don't know. I don't know why you would give them that.
Let me see if I can find it again.
There is no device.
Because I did read about that. I was like, why would they even be asking for a Social Security number? But it I guess it's part of like their credit purchase plan.
Oh, that's just lame. I would never. If that was the case, even if it was like an Apple product, and I love Apple products, but even if it was an Apple product and they said, "Hey, can we have your social?" Nah, I can't give out my Social Security number. Sorry.
Yeah, it's part of the financing options of their Samsung Money thing. So I guess I don't know if that's like Google Pay kind of thing. I don't know what it is.
I haven't come across that yet. Yeah, I know Samsung Plus is a repair service that they offer, but I can't see how without it. Like a credit card, sure, but a Social Security, I don't see that. And because of this stupid breach, my job is about to fucking suck for a while. Dealing with the Samsung fiasco with all these breaches and shit. Because people are going to be coming in left and right. And God forbid if it hits the mainstream media. And then mainstream media will get it and start telling everybody that Samsung with the biggest breach ever. And I'll have idiots coming into my store consistently going, I think I've been hacked. I want to make sure I'm not hacked. Okay, lady, you haven't done shit but check your email. Did you click on a bad email? No. You sure? No. Okay, let me check. Nope, you didn't. You have nothing malicious in here. You're good to go. Go pound sand. Get out of my store. That's what it is. And you know what? And when it comes to breaches and cybersecurity and shit, who the fuck is China pointing fingers at?
I thought that was hilarious.
Like, China's turning around and saying, hey, look, I know Samsung got breached, but you guys need to know that we've been attacked tens of thousands of times from the United States. Really? We've attacked you tens of thousands of times. It wouldn't happen to be the millions of people that are Chinese immigrants living in our country that are using WhatsApp or some other social media app to connect and tunnel and VPN into your country secretly because you have a big old firewall to talk to their family and friends. That wouldn't be it at all, would it? No, that wouldn't be it. But you're supposed to be the smartest, one of the smartest countries. Start acting like it. I'd love to. The person that probably they quoted for this was probably like the mailroom clerk, the guy that or the cashier at the commissary downstairs at some sort of cybersecurity place. I've been hearing that the U.S. attacks a lot, tens of thousands of times. It's like so random, and of course the U.S. turns around and goes, no, we haven't. You have. You've attacked us like 10,000 times.
Yeah. And the reality is 10,000 is probably a low number, and they're both doing it constantly.
All the time. Yeah.
Don't think for a minute
Yeah.
that either one, well, and it's not just China and US. I mean, Germany, just to name another big player in the cyber field.
I don't even know if it's Germany. I would say like.
Oh no, Germany's a big one. Trust me.
Oh, it is?
Oh yeah.
Iran, Iraq, a lot of Middle Eastern countries. England, of course, has their own cybersecurity industry. Any major player is going to have this. Japan,
No,
China.
I'm not necessarily talking about security. I'm talking about like dedicated group of people that are out there trolling, looking for ways to wreak havoc on other countries.
But China really doesn't have a leg to stand on. I mean, they really don't.
They're the worst. I mean,
they have a completely surveillance country with a gigantic firewall that you can't get in or out, and they surveil everybody. Like they actually have a database of just their cameras in the country that are taking constant pictures, whether you broke the law or not, of like your face on the sidewalk or people walking or cars going by a certain intersection. All day, every day, that's what they do.
Yep.
They have a tab on everybody.
Yep.
And it's pretty funny that they can't even control that because that actually spilled out online as well. 800 million records of people spilled out on that shit.
Yeah, their license plate along with their face. I mean, all kinds of information.
Now, of course, China doesn't bat an eye because you can't. If you do and you say something, you're probably going to jail. It's a good possibility. I'm not saying that happens to everybody. I'm not trying to paint a picture because I want to pause right now and say that you and I don't even know how you feel on this, but I feel that over the decades, China and Russia and the U.S. have been vilified constantly. Like the U.S. wants you to, like the kids in school and shit, to think that Russia and China have this big wall, this big nasty guy, this dictator just. It's not like that. There's a lot of people. It's just like any other country. It's just that their government is just as aggressive as our government. Our government hides it from us. Their government hides it from their people. But they're just there's people in China right now, just like me and Fremo, that are just trying to get by. We're maybe doing something online to joke or game or whatever it is. But
no 99.9999999% of the 7-something billion people on this planet are in the same boat. We're born. We try to make a decent living while we're here and leave our kids in a little bit better spot. That's it. That's what most of us are doing. And regardless of where you live.
And countries in glass houses shouldn't throw stones either.
Yeah.
And that's just, I mean, anybody in any sort of glass house should not throw stones. You know, and I'm pointing my finger at you, Philip Morris, cigarette company that's made your fucking bones on getting people sick and addicted, including myself. When you and I first met, I was smoking. Ol's 70 smokes like two. Oh, I don't think he still does because he's had a lot of health issues because of this. But
Oh, he was smoking
like
2+ a day when I met him.
2+ a day. Yeah, 2+ a day, even when I worked with him. I was up to 2 packs when I quit. That's 40 cigarettes a day. And that's all it is carcinogens. That's all it is. It's just simply shitty. It's not good. And the picture that I put up in the video is showing the differences between weed and cigarettes, because that's now the big contender, is how much they're changing. You know what I mean? Like, yes, so if you're smoking a cigarette, you're going to take like maybe, I don't know, depending on who you are, maybe 10 or 11 pulls from that cigarette. And every time you do, you're going to get a lungs full of carcinogens and toxins and shit. When you smoke weed, you're taking 1 or 2 hits, and that's what's going in, is marijuana. There's really no carcinogens, so to speak, in there. That's where the differences more or less are. So you're less likely to get cancer or lung cancer or anything else from smoking marijuana, because it's just what it is. You're taking 2 or 3 hits.
Oh. And
you don't
and
smoke
the thing
weed,
is,
so it's
the thing is tobacco is the same thing. If it was just ground tobacco that people were smoking,
correct,
but
correct.
it's not.
No, it is not.
The
And
cigarette companies started adding stuff to it a long time ago to addict you.
Yeah, that's their main goal. I mean, don't believe us. Don't believe me and Fremo. Fremo doesn't even smoke. I was the one that smoked
Anymore.
I haven't smoked in 11 years. Cigarettes.
30.
Yeah, you haven't smoked in a long
I quit
time.
like 30 years ago. 25, 30 years ago.
It's still
occasionally, I won't say I've never smoked a cigarette in that time frame. There's been a few instances here and there where I've bummed a smoke off somebody, but as far as actually buying a pack of cigarettes and smoking, I haven't done it in well over 25 years.
No, there's really no need. I mean, there really isn't a need to smoke. Like, for instance, when you don't smoke for a while, your taste buds come back, your smell comes back. When I have somebody like outside of the local corner store smoking a cigarette outside, I can smell it, and it smells disgusting.
Yeah.
Now, am I free and clear? No, I smoke weed and I do smoke cigars, little cigarillos, but they're not carcinogens in them. They're literally Outback or Backwood cigars, or I shouldn't say Backwood, that's a name brand, but basically just tobacco. And I only have like 1 to 3 a day, depending on my day and what I'm doing. And the cigarillos, they're tiny. So I don't feel, am I doing something still wrong? Yes. But man, I took a drag from a cigarette once recently, because I was just out at a bar, and it was so disgusting. Like, it was just, there wasn't anything tobacco in there. I was just tasting chemical.
Yeah.
It's gross. So cigarettes have been trending down for years, and companies like Philip Morris have been trying to keep it alive forever. Don't take my free word for it. Go look it up. You'll see that there's been times and times and times that they've done ads, and they've tried to push people. They've tried to, they've said it. Let's sell more Newport cigarettes to lower income areas. Now, the whole thing with the fiberglass, that's partially true. Like, they tested fiberglass in the cigarettes to make that cool minty flavor. In fact, it was Cool Cigarettes that did that. But that didn't last. There's other chemicals in there to make you think that way. You know? That's a fucking problem. And let's not forget.
And the thing is those are the same chemicals that they use in the vapes to give it that menthol cool.
Correct. And the vapes at a whole nother level, because you have a heat pipe, coils that are heating up, and there's a bunch of other chemicals that are involved in that. And let's not forget 2005 movie, Thank You for Smoking, which is, if you ever want to watch a movie on how lobbyists work, it's that movie, because they blatantly explain to you how cigarette lobbyists work. You know, and they are relentless. They will continuously do that, because the Congress, there's always a congressperson that wants to ban cigarettes for good reason. I mean, now we've kind of done it in a lot of ways. And the thing that kills me is that you guys can switch your program at any time. It's a fact that Philip Morris especially has already produced test packets of marijuana rolled cigarettes in smaller packs, kind of like the 5-pack that you used to see on the helmets of Vietnam fighters.
They've been purchasing land, waiting for the federal ban on marijuana to be
Correct.
lifted. I mean, they've had land purchased for probably
Exactly.
2 decades.
That's exactly what it is. And cigarette use is down. 11% of Americans are smoking compared to 45% in the 50s. That's a
Yeah.
big chunk of change and good for
I
them.
mean, trust me, they'll be all in on the marijuana thing as soon as the federal
yeah.
ban's lifted. But don't think for a minute that they're gonna just abandon cigarettes totally when that happens.
No.
They'll
But
transition,
again,
but they're going
it's
to
going to
get
be
every last nickel they can
oh yeah.
out of
And
cigarettes.
it's going to be difficult because in 2015 there was a survey that 91% of smokers, current smokers, were not happy with smoking. They were not happy with it at all. And towards the end, I was the exact same way. I was like, "Oh, I just spent $15 on a pack of cigarettes, and I'll be here again tonight to buy the same pack, $30 a day."
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sitting in my. I'll never forget it. Sitting at Cumberland Farms
You ought to move down
in my
here to
truck.
tobacco country. We get them a lot cheaper.
I bet you do. I was
It's
sitting in my
only
truck.
like $6.50 for a pack of Marlboro.
Oh my God. I was sitting in my truck at Cumberland Farms and I'm looking at the cigarette pack as I'm undoing the wrapper on it. And I'm like, I don't even make that an hour right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is insane. I don't
You
make
have to work
$30
3
an
hours a
hour.
day to support your cigarette habit.
Correct. It was depressing. You know, and in 2012, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I met my wife and I was like, you know what? This isn't worth it. It's just not worth it. And it's funny because I gained a bunch of weight because I got my taste buds back. So now I'm like, this is delicious food. Give me more of this. It was great. But like you said, weed is federally illegal. So like Fremo just touched upon, Philip Morris isn't going to do shit until it's legalized federally.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it comes down to. You know, and you got to understand the laws to do that. I have places popping
So-
up all around me right now because the
Yeah,
two states are legalized.
Yeah, I was going to say,
How is your state doing?
if anybody has the means to get into the growing
Oh,
and selling of weed,
ooh,
do it now. Get every penny out of it that you can, because once the federal ban is lifted, you will no longer be able to compete.
no, you're gonna have Philip.
The
You're gonna have every
best thing,
company.
the best thing you'll be able to do is join a co-op of other growers and sell your weed to one of the big boys. Because you know,
But right now,
once they enter the arena, it's over.
Right now, it's just a cash cow. It is a cash
Yeah.
cow. The two main medicinal places in my state, each one of those guys are driving a Ferrari, the owners. Now that it's been legalized, they're still doing okay. Not as good as they were before, but now you have places literally popping up everywhere. So once you can get your official license, it's the way I was talking to one of the owners of a pop-up that just came down the street. Once you have your license to sell and to grow, two separate licenses, you have the ability now. Companies will give you a loan, like in a heartbeat. A state-run credit union or anything like that will give you a loan in a heartbeat because they know you're going to pay it back like quickly, not even the full term, and they are money.
I'm actually looking at trying to get the grower license in Tennessee. It's a little more difficult because it's not legal to use here yet.
Yeah.
But you can get a license to grow, but you have to have already lined up so many dispensaries and doctors or whatnot saying that they're going to buy your product before you can even get the
really?
license to grow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's cash cow.
It's really hard to do here, but I've got
enough land.
6 acres sitting back here ready to roll. I'm just got to get everything together.
Yeah. It's too late for me and Liza. We talked about it before, opening up a shop near one of our other companies at the time, and it was just we were like, well, we had a business that we could open that up next door, and that would have been nice. but it was so expensive and so much red tape to get through to get the license at the time. And of course, the people that were saving their money and were about to do it, a lot of people in the know were like, hey, just wait until it's legalized. We'll be good. And sure enough, I mean, there's going to be on the main road near my house, the main like rural highway, there's going to be 6 that have opened in the past 4 months. It's stupid busy. Like they're competing with each other already. And you'll get a loan for it without even batting an eye. Like they won't even question you. Like, yeah, I got all this, I got this, and this. I'm going to be opening up a marijuana shop. Oh yeah, here's your money. And speaking of loans, the federal, I want to talk about before we end this today news. I want to talk about the federal loan forgiveness because I don't think people understand it enough. And this is what you need to understand. When something this important comes along, don't listen to us. Don't listen to your mainstream media. Don't read that weird ass person. Don't listen to the guy at work. Go read the facts for yourself. Just go read them. The link in the show notes is for a quick rundown of what the bill contains and what the facts actually are. But if you really want to know, all the bills are always accepted for or allowed to be viewed by the public. Always. Go read it. Because the President Biden put this bill forth. And people are jumping up and down. You got random people arguing with senators about, I've already paid off my loan. Do I get money back? You've got people that are sitting there and going, well, I can't really do that too much. I kind of want to get forgiveness of all my loan. Well, that's not the way this is going to work. They're forgiving $10,000 in outstanding federal student loans. The Pell Grant, if you go to Pell Grant, and up here Northeast, Pell Grants are like, they hand them out. You can get them anywhere, but Pell Grants are 20 grand of forgiveness. Now, but only those that make less than 125 grand a year get this. And you might be sitting there going, well, that's not loan forgiveness. It actually is. See, if you figure it out and listen to the way it's worded, an average associate's degree in state, if you go to your local community college or local college, you're traveling back and forth to school, is around 10 grand for an associate's, about 25 grand for room and board outside of state. So that's going to take a chunk of change. Either it's going to pay off your loan or it's going to take a chunk of change off of your loan. And that's if you go 2 years full time. When you start spreading it out, going part-time, and I'm going to do it this year and this year, that's not going to work for you because that's just going to take away 10 grand. And again, it's not a full forgiveness. It's just 10 grand. Bachelor's degrees are like 25 grand, out of state 35 grand, and it goes up from there. I mean, you talk about masters and doctorates, forget about it. But what people don't get is that this is a loan forgiveness for the common fucking person, okay? The guy that went to trade school and got a degree that said he could do auto mechanics or medical secretary or medical assistant or whatever those little smaller degrees are. These are for you. Why? You might be asking why. Oh, I went to community college. I got an associate's degree. What'd you get it in? Art. Good luck with that art degree. Don't know what you're going to do with it, but good luck with it. So they're the ones that are going to be forgiven. They made a bad mistake. But what about the people that like got a, an associate's degree in, let's just say that you went to a local trade school and you got a degree or certificate in auto mechanics, ASE certified. That's great, but you can't get a job in your area right now. Nobody's hiring. You're working at Dunkin'. You're the guy that's going to be forgiven, or you're the girl that's going to be forgiven. You're the person that's going to be forgiven. That's what this is about. This is about taking care of the basic person. This is about taking care of the common person that's working, that can't get a job in their field because it's saturated. This is not for the Harvard graduate that's making 250 grand a year at your local law firm. This is not for the CPA that's working for a Fortune 500 company making 120 grand. This is not for them. That's great. You have a master's or a doctorate in something. That's fucking awesome. And hopefully you can cash in on it. But you spent 80 grand on your college education, and now you're coming out of class coming out of school expecting to make six figures. Good. Excellent. Absolutely. I'm not forgiving your loan, though. If you're making 120 plus a year, I'm not forgiving your loan. You can afford to pay off this loan. Live meagerly for a couple of years while you pay off your student debt. It's for the people that literally are struggling. I have people that I work with that went to college, got a bachelor's degree in medical assistant, and they can't get a job, or they're getting a job that's like $13, $14 an hour, and they're still staying at my company to subsidize their income. Those are the people that get a forgiveness or get 10 grand thrown their way to their $30,000 loan. That's the people this is meant for. This is not meant for, one of my daughters went to school twice, right? So she's got loans for one associate's degree and one bachelor's degree. You're not getting student loan forgiveness. Sorry, honey. Not happening. You're kind of screwed. You're on your own. There's nothing that anybody can do about it because it's not meant for you. You went to school once. You didn't like what you did. You completed your course. That's great. That's a supplement to your bachelor's degree that you were working on at the same time. And then you got your bachelor's degree. That's great also. You should be making more than that. And she's expressed to me, like, the reason why the associate's degree didn't work is because when she got her associate's degree, she got out and she was expecting to make, 30, 40, 50 grand a year. And you're not. You make it 15 to 25, if you're 15 to 21, if you're lucky. Lucky. Starting out in the medical field. It doesn't pay. There's a lot of these things that don't pay. And 10 to 20 grand in loan forgiveness is pretty cool. If your bill is, 15 grand and you get a 10 grand forgiveness and you only have to pay 5, that's a plus. That's definitely a plus. So Fremo had to step away for a short time to take a phone call. And that means I'm in charge and he can't say shit, which is great for me. The Apple announcement was yesterday. We had already put together the show. We already had planned to do the show this morning. We're recording this on a Thursday. The announcement was on a Wednesday. Fremo can't stand Apple anyway, and I honestly, I don't want to hear him bitch and moan and make fun of it. Because and the sad thing is, those Apple fans like me that are listening to the show, if you watch the announcement, there really wasn't anything. If you take away all the pomp and circumstance, there wasn't anything truly announced. The new watch is pretty sweet. The new iPhone is not. It's nothing special. The new operating system for the phone, that's kind of cool. But there's really nothing else. So to have Fremo just sit there and bag on me for liking the new phone, that's just not good. So I'm not going to do that. What I plan on doing, and I haven't even told Fremo this yet, what I plan on doing is, because he hates it so much, I'm going to do a full quick review on Saturday. I'll just do a quick show. You can jump on, watch me, and we'll just run down the stuff that was announced. Because by then, you're going to have a lot of people are going to have it in their hands. They're going to have their test. Embargoes are lifted. They can start doing reviews on them. So I'll start looking at all of those things. I'm sure my store will start getting the stuff in. I'll be able to look at those things and touch and feel and all that happy horse shit. So what I'll do is Saturday, my plan is to do another little quick show just to see if, if there's anything really to talk about, if there's anything really to buy. I can tell you right now that just off the cuff, from what I just looked at really quick, was that the new phone is nothing special. The new operating system for the phone is, and the new higher end watch is pretty sweet. I'm pretty confident I'm going to grab that because really like that. So now, while Fremo's still on this call, we're going to get into this week's music. This week's music. Oh my gosh, my granddaughter's here. Look at her. Looking all cute. Hey, you want to be live on the air? Yeah. Look, you're on. Isn't that cool? That's you. Yeah, that's you. It's Papa with glasses and a headset. So, there's that.
See, Papa, I'm ready for a nap. How about you?
You need a nap because you were busy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's get into this week's music. We're going to try something a little bit different. This is a Canadian-born, Austin-based band. Name of the band is Black Pistol Fire. The song is called Hipster Shake. And we'll catch you on the other side for some gaming news. We have a good amount of gaming news this week, as we always do, because we do love gaming. We have a good amount of gaming news, and we're going to get into that right after this break. So until then, enjoy Black Pistol Fire on BGFG.
My baby talks so much, she lose her mind. A violent head says she know how to treat me right. Don't worry and I pay no mind. Chugging gasoline and she know how to start a fire. You high, just a baby child. Little heartbreaker, holding up the total line. And she can smile at her daddy's good looks. She grew apart, stealing hearts just like a crook. Roll me over, time again. Papa don't approve, I said roll me over. Time again, Papa don't approve about the way she walks. You better watch your man. Because she's yours too. You better watch your man. I won't be made up. I want mine to give you. I'm talking to. Turn you the cheek up. Darling, I ain't done with you. Come on, sugar, won't you take your shot? Arms are the cost. Show me what you really got. You high, just a baby child. That heartbreaker, holding on the total line. She smiling at daddy's good looks. She grew apart, stealing hearts just like a crook. Roll me over. Time again, Papa don't approve. I said roll me over. Time again, Papa don't approve about the way she walks. You better watch your man. Because she's yours too. You better watch your man. I won't be made. Hey, mama, will you roll that cone? Or see a cup and then a ride on them bones. Come on down and do the hipster shake. Someone let me out my cage. You better watch your man. Because she's yours too. You better watch your man. I won't be made of
Here we go. Let's get into this week's stick style, and we'll see what happens when Freeman comes back.
Gaming.
So, first up in this week's stick style, as we love to do, because we do love stick style, is Sony. So, Freeman and I will forever be arguing about that. Xbox, I feel like I have to say at the beginning, we've switched from going from GPU updates to how we feel about the two different consoles. There's three, I know. No, Nintendo does not get any love here because, unfortunately, Nintendo is very locked down. I appreciate, and so does Fremo, what Nintendo is. It's its own company. It's not owned by any other company. They have great titles, Mario and Zelda. You can't deny those. You can't deny Mario Kart. You can't deny any of these. But that's kind of all they have. And on their systems are almost always great. There's only like a few hit or misses in their entire lineup over the years. But Nintendo kind of is geared toward the younger gamer, which I think there is a place for, and I think that's why they keep making money. There is no doubt that both of my one, two, three. Yeah, I don't know if the two oldest. I don't know if the oldest had one. But the other, no, he never did either. So 3 out of my 5 kids have had Nintendos, or still have Nintendo Switches. And they love them. You know, they'll play all sorts of games. One of my sons loves retro gaming, so he'll grab the retro gaming versions all the time. I think it's great. I had one for a short time, and then one of my kids broke, and they took mine. So I lost that shit forever. You know that. So Nintendo's great. You get Ataris, you get your out of the fringe stuff. When it comes to the two main ones, PlayStation and Xbox, there is no doubt, at least in my mind, and I think Fremo agrees with me. I'm pretty sure, not 100% though, that Xbox has the best games. It has the best. I would say community has the largest. I would say maybe larger community, at least in the U.S. And it has a lot of good games, a lot of good franchise games from Gears of War, Halo, Forza. The list goes on and on of games that are exclusives that are really good, but their machines are questionable, and their interface is abysmal, just abysmal. It's bad. Everything from groups chats to getting to your information quickly to the menu layout. It's just the absolute drizzling shits. PlayStation, on the other hand, has a phenomenal, beautiful interface, easy to navigate, 100%. I think their hardware is quite good. Ugly, the new PlayStation 5 is ugly as hell, but it's a solid machine, easy to upgrade the hard drive in. It's a based hardware for what you're doing. They just don't really have a lot of titles. God of War, I mean, I was even cruising around because I picked different days for stick style that we're going to do different systems. And when we're doing PlayStation system, it's like, what am I going to play? Stray again? Like, I'm kind of bored with this shit. Gran Turismo? Okay. There's nothing really to jump into. And I found myself playing God of War 3, which I implore you, if you have a PlayStation, grab that again. Because I forgot how much fun God of War 3 was and how polished it was in that series. But one of the things on PlayStation that always shocked me was how much people loved camouflage, or as my kids say, camouflage. There's been green camouflage, gray camouflage, red camouflage, blue camouflage, all based on war stuff, which again I get, but PlayStation's always like been big on that. Like you see a lot of PlayStation controllers that have that camouflage color, and it always shocked me how many, and you can find them anywhere, like literally anywhere. It never appealed to me, but here we are. Now remember, Modern Warfare 2 reissue or remaster is going to be released in October, and that's a big deal, especially to people that love that franchise. And I'm even thinking about jumping into that franchise. I haven't played a Modern Warfare game in years from that. What the hell is that man doing? But just in time for that, Modern Warfare 2 is going to be a full gray camo pack for your PlayStation. Now, PlayStation does release side panels for your PlayStation 5 now, which is very cool. They are not expensive, so your controller's going to be $75 for the camo edition. Your console cover is going to be $55, and your camo version of the worst headset I have ever laid my hands on will be $99. You can pre-order the entire group on September 15th and get that rocking at your house right before the Modern Warfare 2 console. And while we're sitting here, and I mentioned that thing about the headset, because I already see the chat. Somebody that listens to our show that's on our private Discord is already asking me, like, oh, is the worst headset? Yes, it is. I love headsets and I love mics, and I've tested a shit ton. I really mean a shit ton. Like, for instance, we've talked about the show. My number one go-to for gaming or anything else, really, even though I'm rocking these Corsairs, because this particular production rig is more or less sponsored by Corsair and Elgato. It's everything on here outside of the monitors, which that's going to change, next year. Everything is Corsair and Elgato. So that's why I use the Corsair headset, and it's not the Virtuoso headset is not a bad headset. It's not bad. But I have to say that the best one that I've put on my head in a very long time, outside of big 1970s cushion Sonys that I have,